Welcome to the Explainer. We all get angry, but what if you had a plan for it? Today, we're going to build exactly that, a step-by-step emergency protocol for what to do the moment anger hits. 1/30th of a second. Just think about that. It's faster than you can even blink. And that's how fast your body and your mind react to an anger trigger. It's way, way faster than your rational brain can ever hope to catch up. So what's actually happening here? Well, neurologists have a name for it, an amygdala hijack. And that's really the core problem we're trying to solve. It's when the emotional, reactive part of your brain completely takes the wheel. And your logical, thinking brain, it gets tossed in the trunk. Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we need to really understand this anger hijack. Then we'll build out our protocol piece by piece. We're talking seconds 1 through 30, how to get your body back, then minutes 1 to 3, how to reconnect your mind. And after that, the next 30 minutes, how to get ready to actually talk about it. And of course, we'll wrap up with how to make all of this an actual automatic habit. All right, first things first. Let's take a quick look under the hood and see what's really going on inside your brain in those first few absolutely critical moments. So, it all kicks off with a trigger, right? Could be anything. A snarky comment, a frustrating email. Boom, that hits your amygdala. Think of it as your brain's super sensitive threat detector. And the amygdala, it doesn't mess around. It immediately floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol. And that's your classic fight or flight response kicking in. Your heart starts pounding, your muscles get tense, and this is the most important part. Your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex, it basically goes offline. You are physically primed for a brawl, but you're mentally completely unprepared for a reasonable conversation. Okay, so with all that going on, what's our first move? In these first crucial 30 seconds, your one and only job is to slam the brakes on that physical alarm system. You literally cannot think your way out of this state. You have to use your body to get your brain back. And for that, we've got the STOP protocol. Think of it like an emergency circuit breaker. First, S, stop. I mean, literally, physically freeze your body. This sends a massive interrupt signal to your brain's automatic reaction. Next, T, take a breath. And not just any breath, a very specific one we'll get to in a sec. Then, O, observe. Find one totally neutral thing in your environment. A doorknob, the color of the wall, anything to pull your focus out of that internal storm. And only then, P, proceed. You've created a gap, and now you can choose to continue with your plan. Now, about that breathing technique, this part is absolutely key. We're not talking about just any old deep breath. This is called the physiological sigh. It's a quick double inhale through your nose, followed by a long, slow exhale through your mouth. And there's a reason for this. It's the fastest known way to voluntarily calm yourself down. That long exhale, it activates something called the vagus nerve, which basically sends a direct message to your brain saying, hey, we're safe. The threat is gone. And hey, if you need a few other physical tricks up your sleeve, these are fantastic. Splashing cold water on your face, that actually triggers something called the mammalian dive reflex, and it instantly slows your heart rate. Or just press your feet hard into the floor. Tense and then release a muscle group. Or even just grab something cold like a can of soda. All these things act as anchors, pulling you out of your head and back into the present moment. Okay, so the physical alarm bells are starting to quiet down. You've bought yourself a small window of time, maybe 1 to 3 minutes, to start bringing your thinking brain back online. Now it's time to figure out what that explosion of anger was really trying to tell you. And this is a really crucial idea to get. Anger is almost always a secondary emotion. Think of it like a bodyguard for more vulnerable feelings. It jumps out in front to protect you from feeling hurt or scared or embarrassed. So your job in this phase is to gently look past that tough bodyguard and see what it's trying to protect. And a fantastic tool for this comes from something called nonviolent communication, or NVC. It's a simple process. Step 1, you've already done. You stopped and you breathed. Step 2 is just to notice those judgmental thoughts swirling in your head, like they are so disrespectful. But step 3, this is where the magic happens. You connect that thought to one of your unmet needs. I need to feel respected. And once you do that, you can finally connect with the real feeling that's hiding behind the anger, which might be frustration or disappointment. This shift from judgment to need is it's a game changer. So a thought like, they have no respect for human beings, that can be translated into, I have a need for my contributions to be seen and valued. Or if you're thinking, I can't do anything right, that's a signal that I need some support and reassurance right now. Do you see how that completely reframes the situation? It stops being about blame and starts being about understanding what you really need. All right, so you've gotten a handle on your body and you've translated the message from your mind. Now we move into the next phase, the strategic cool down. And let me be clear, this isn't about just burying the issue. It's about getting yourself ready for a conversation that actually goes somewhere. And you might be thinking, 30 minutes, that's a long time. Well, there's a good reason. It takes, at a minimum, about 20 minutes for stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to actually work their way out of your system. So taking a timeout isn't about being weak. It's a non-negotiable neurobiological step to get your rational brain fully back in the driver's seat. So what do you do during this cool down? You can prepare. And one of the most powerful tools out there comes from a former FBI hostage negotiator named Chris Voss. It's called tactical empathy. And look, this isn't about agreeing with the other person or saying they're right. It's about demonstrating that you understand their perspective, which is the fastest way to de-escalate a tense situation. The core technique here is something called labeling, and it is shockingly simple and effective. So when someone says angrily, "This is a complete disaster," you don't argue with them. You simply label the emotion behind the words. You say, "It sounds like you're feeling really overwhelmed." Or if they say, "You never listen to me," you say, "It seems like you feel unheard." Just naming their emotion helps calm their brain down. It makes them feel seen, and it opens the door to a real dialogue instead of just escalating the fight. So here's maybe the most important takeaway from all of this. Everything we've just walked through, it's a skill. It's not a magic trick. And just like any other skill, it takes practice to turn it into a habit that you can actually rely on when you're under pressure. So let's put it all together. Here's your entire 30-minute protocol. The first 30 seconds are all about regaining your body with the stop protocol and a physiological sigh. The next 1 to 3 minutes are about reconnecting your mind, using self-empathy to find your unmet need. And the next 3 to 30 minutes? That's your strategic timeout to let the hormones settle and prepare to communicate using tools like tactical empathy. There's a quote from author James Clear that just hits the nail on the head here. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. You can't just hope you'll handle anger well. You have to actively build the neural pathways for this new response when you're calm, so that system is there for you when stress hits. So how do you actually practice this stuff? The best way is to use the tiny habits model. It's super simple. You find an anchor, something you already do every single day, like brushing your teeth. Then you attach a tiny new behavior to it. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will do 1 physiological sigh. And then, this part is crucial, you celebrate immediately. A little fist pump, a mental yes, something to create a positive feeling that helps wire that new habit into your brain. You know, when you really get down to it, this whole protocol is about changing your relationship with anger itself. It's about learning to treat it not as some kind of enemy you have to crush, but as a messenger, a signal that's trying to tell you something important. When you do that, you can transform it from this destructive force into a powerful guide. So the only real question left is, are you ready to listen?